Chapter 2, Lesson 6 Sales Tax, Tips, and Markup. Essential question: how can percent help you understand situations involving money? Vocabulary: sales tax, tip, gratuity, markup, selling price. Our real world link: kayaks. Alonzo plans to buy a new kayak that costs $2,100. But when he buys the kayak, it actually costs more because he lives in a county where there is a 7% sales tax. You can find the amount of tax on an item by multiplying the price by the tax percentage. Number 1, circle the amount below that shows the amount of tax Alonzo will pay for the kayak. Is he going to pay $350, $235, or $147? Well, in order to solve that, we take $2,100 and we multiply it by 7%, which is 700. When you do that, that equals 147. So that's $147. Number 2, use the amount of tax from exercise 1 to fill in the receipt at the right. Then find the total cost Alonzo will pay for the kayak. Well, if the kayak costs $2,100 and then the sales tax is $147, we're going to add that and get the total of $2,247. So for number 3, it says multiply 1 and 700 and $2,100. How does the result compare to the answer in exercise 2? Well, if I take 1 and 700 times 2,100, that equals 2,247. What do we notice? Or how for the comparison? They are the same. Number 4, on Alonzo's kayaking trip, hiring a guide costs $50. Alonzo wants to give the guide a 10% tip. Explain how to find the amount of the tip. Well, you can multiply 10% or 1/10 by $50. Continuing. Sales tax and total cost. Sales tax is an additional amount of money charged on items that people buy. The total cost of an item is the regular price plus the sales tax. So an example, number 1, Drew wants to buy exercise equipment that costs $140 and the sales tax is 5.75%. What's the total cost of the equipment? Well, I'm going to go ahead and find, using method 1, adding sales tax to the regular price. So I'm first going to find the sales tax. So I'm going to put M1 to go over method 1. So as we did with the, or as we can see down here, we're going to take the part, which equals the percent times the whole. So if we have our parts, that's what we're solving for. Our percentage is 5.75%. So that decimal is 575 10,000ths times our whole of 140. So that means that our part is going to be 8 5/100. So the next thing is to take that answer and to add it to our whole price. So I'm going to take 140 and I'm going to add $8.05. So that gives me $148.05. That's how much the equipment's going to cost. Now the other method number 2, is to add the percent of tax to 100%. So that means if we have 100% and we're adding 5.75%, that means that you are paying 105.75%. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply that by my whole. So if my part is T, and I'm multiplying that by 1 and 575 10,000ths times 140, then that means that my total cost is going to be $148.05. If you notice, both of these give me the same exact answer. Pick one of these methods and use it. So let's see if we got this. We're going to do letter A. What is the total cost of a sweatshirt if the regular price is $42 and the sales tax is 5.5%? Well, it's up to you. You can either use method 1 or method 2. I like to use method 2 because I feel like there's less that you have to do. So I'm going to take 100% and I'm going to add my 5.5%. That gives me 105 and 5/10%. I'm then going to multiply that by my regular price of $42 times 1 and 1 and 55 thousandths, which equals my total. So my total equals, 42 times 1.055 gives me 44 and 31/100ths. So that means that total cost is going to be $44.31, including my tax. So tips and markups. A tip or gratuity is a small amount of money in return for a service. The total price is the regular price of the service plus the tip. So as an example, if you were to go to a restaurant and you want to leave a tip for the server, typically it's going to be a portion of your bill. So a store sells items for more than it pays for those items. The amount of increase is called the markup. The selling price is the amount the customer pays for an item. So if you were to go to buy a shirt at the store, if you're paying $20 for the shirt, the store does not pay $20. They might pay $15 and mark the price up an extra $5 just so then that way they can make a profit. So example 2. A customer wants to tip 15% on a restaurant bill that is $35. What will the total bill with what will be the total bill with tip? So we have two options of solving this. We have method 1, that is to add the tip to the regular price. So first we want to find the tip. So we want to find our part, which is the percent times the whole. So that part is the one that we want to solve for. So the part equals the percent of 15/100 times the whole of 35. So that leaves me with 5 and 25/100. Next, we want to add it to the bill. So if the bill is $35, we want to add $5.25. That means that our total bill is going to be $40.25. Now, method number 2 is similar to what we did for the previous types of problems. So adding the percent of tip to 100%. So if we have 100% plus an additional plus an additional 15%, that gives me 115%. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply that by my total. So 1 and 15/100 times 35. That gives me 40 and 25/100. So it's $40.25. And if you notice, these are both the same answers, just like when we did example 1. Just two different methods, so pick one of them. You can use either of the methods, it's still going to give you the same answer. So problem number 3. A haircut costs $20. The sales tax is $4.75. Oh my goodness. 4.75%. Is $25 sufficient to cover the haircut with tax and a 15% tip? So sales tax is 4.75%, and the tip is 15%. So what we want to do is add those two together, meaning we want to take our 15% tip and our 4.75% tax and find out that is 19.75% in addition to the $20. So you could go in and you can solve this like method number 1, where we find what that part is and then add it to the total. Or you could do method number 2, where you add the percent to 100%. So I'll use the first method. Actually, the book shows the first method, so I'm going to use the second method. So I'm going to take 100% and I'm going to add 19.75%. So I'm paying for 119.75%. So I'm going to take my total of $20 and multiply that by 1.1975. That equals $23.95. Again, same answer, just a different way of solving it. So since $23.95 is less than $25, $25 is sufficient to cover the total cost. So let's look at letter B and C to see if we understand. Scott wants to tip his taxicab driver 20%. If his commute costs $15, what is the total cost? Well, we're going to be paying for 100% plus an additional 20%. Again, depends on which method you're choosing. I'm going with method 2 again. So that gives me 120%. So I'm taking 120% and multiplying that by 15. So that way I can find the total. So 1 and 2 tenths times 15 gives me 18. So what is the total cost? His total cost is $18. Letter C. Write the total cost of the spa treatment of $42, including a 6% tax and a 20% tip. Well, I'm going to take my 20% and add 6%. I know that I'm paying an additional 26% on top of my $42. Again, I'm going to use method number 2 of taking the idea that I'm paying 100% plus an additional 26%. And in total, I'm paying 126% of $42. So I'm going to take 1.26 times 42, because that is equivalent to 126% times 42. And that gives me a total of $52.92. So the total cost of the spa treatment is $52.92. Example 4. A store pays $56 for a GPS navigation system. The markup is 25%. Find the selling price. So first, we need to find the markup. We're going to let M represent that markup, which is our part. Our part is going to be the percent times our whole. Again, we don't know what the markup is, but we're going to use the variable M. We do know the percent is 25 hundredths, and that we're multiplying it by the whole of $56. So again, we just want to know what the markup is. So we're going to take 25 hundredths times 56, which is 14. So our markup is $14. So we're going to take the base price of $56 and add an additional $14 on top of that. That means that the store is going to sell the GPS navigation system for $70. So let's try letter D to see if we understand that. If a store pays $150 for a portable backboard, and the markup is 40%, what's the selling price? So we want to find the part, which is the percent times our whole. Well, we don't know what the part is, so I'm going to put M because that's representing the markup. Our percentage is 40%, and our whole is 150. So 40% is a decimal is 40 hundredths times the whole of 150. So we're going to find 40 hundredths times 150. That means our markup is 60. So if our base price is $150 and we're adding an additional $60, that means that the store is going to sell this portable basketball backboard for $210.